Oh my God, it's finally here. Welcome back to the Trade Frank podcast. After all this time, I'm John Trowbridge.
I'm Jared Eimicke.
On the other side of the internet, we have Jared Eimicke.
Wow.
And today is the day, finally, our prayers have been answered. And, it kind of seems like this was never going to happen, but I don't know what the hell happened to the Knicks' luck here in the past year and a half. But it kind of seems like it's done a complete 180, and now we can finally build a team, and we can finally look forward to watching our favorite basketball team be playing basketball, because the one, the only, the French Prince, Frankie Smokes, Frank Ntilikina,
Mr. Clamps,
Mr. Clamps himself, Mr. 4 Points, has been denied a contract extension off his rookie contract with the Knicks, making him an unrestricted free agent, which means he's finally off the New York Knicks. We didn't get him traded, Jared, but it's the next best thing. And how do you feel about it?
You know what, John? It's fitting. It's fitting that this is how it happened. It's fitting that we got nothing, right? He couldn't even help us on the way fucking out. We got nothing. It was this sort of a limbo period where we thought we had him. Maybe we could bring him back. His contract ran out. We didn't take the option. We're sitting there waiting. I'm on the edge of my seat. Please renounce the rights to Frank. Please, that's all I'm caring about. Googling rights to Frank, checking Isola and, all these, every single beat reporter there is. Man, and when word came down, as we've said many times on the original pod, where our mission was to trade Frank Ntilikina, we promised we would stop. And this is a one-time special event. I would think. I mean, this is a very special. It wouldn't be right to really continue beyond this. The whole point was to get to this point, and this is more.
And we said we would stop the pod once he was off the team.
That's right. And look, Frank. As we always said on our original pod, it's more symbolic, really, than anything else. I mean, he's just so inept, it's hard to even, and this past season, we didn't have a chance to rant about him every game. But this past season, he just got so few minutes that even really the negative impact, on-court impact, was fairly low. But it's truly symbolic. It is a symbolic gesture. We are, and the next pod is the Trade Knox pod.
That's right.
And we'll see what happens there, because that's the big domino that's coming to fall. But it's that same draft class. It's that same type of player, and that we just got to let go and just cut our losses and move on to the next phase of our lives. And that phase is, the Randall workhorse phase, the quick and Obi phase, the pray that RJ pans out phase. And I'm all for all of those. Those storylines I'm willing to take a ride on those storylines. But I'm just so happy. It's just so great. And I guess I should say that I would hope that all Knicks fans are happy. I don't think that's the case. I mean, you must have seen the tributes out there.
No, much like how Donald Trump has forever divided this country.
Very similar.
And
there will always just be people that like Donald Trump. There will always be people who aren't going to get vaccinated. There are always people who will just live to tear down the nice things that people have built and spent a long time working on. There will always be a section of Knicks fans who think that Frank Ntilikina was good. He was always good. Will be good.
Was always good.
We didn't give him a chance. That's the big one. We didn't give him a chance.
And the reason is that he wasn't given a chance with 4 coaches over many years, multiple times. In different countries, I understand France got the silver medal, but if you look at the stats, we're talking 4 points, we're talking 5 points maybe, and we're
John,
talking
we don't even have to speculate. I have it right up here in front of me.
Great.
Let's run it down. I'll start with the points per game, because that really kind of is Frank's specialty, in a way, because of how tellingly awful it is about his game.
Right.
Rookie season, 2017 to 18, 5.9 points a game. Sophomore season, 2018 to 19, got that little sophomore slump kicking in for Frank. He's dropping to 5.7 a game, 0.2 points down.
Ouch.
Then his junior year, you think he's going to kind of see a little bit of resurgence. He does. He adds 0.6 points to his average for a commanding 6.3 points a game.
Shut us up. Shut us right the fuck up.
And just when you think he's on the verge of, I'll just say, having consistent confidence, because that's usually the bar that Frank's trying to clear. As soon as we think he can clear that, he comes in his final year as a Knick, and thank God he didn't give us any reason to hold on to him. 33 games, 2.7 points a game. He had his lowest steals per game average. He had his lowest assists per game average. He had his lowest rebound a game average. He didn't even shoot well from the line, which used to be kind of like a weird wrinkle to Frank's game. You'd see him shoot 10 free throws a year and you'd be so excited about it, how potentially good he could be from the line. Didn't even do that. And I think, it got to a point where he wasn't having these waves of confidence anymore. He came over to our side almost, I feel like. He was just like, this sucks. I'm done. I suck.
Yeah.
This is over. I should have been traded. And honestly, if he was traded when we were yelling every day for him to be traded, I think he would have had more potential and promise in his career down the road. I 100%. Think now it's bad for him too. I don't want 100%. Him to suck his whole life, but I just feel like
it's never been about anti-Frank. I understand it's the trade Frank pod.
That's the confusion.
No, and that's the huge confusion.
And we should clear that up. And I like him, it's like, I really do.
He's a nice guy. I said this online.
He's a cool dude. I said
this online. He's a scared Belgian teen who was hired to play basketball for the most malnourished, brain-dead fan base in sports. Yeah. Okay? And so he's never been to the city before. He is 18 years old. He's not confident in his abilities, and he has half the city telling him that he's a fucking bum who needs to get on the next fucking plane to France, and he has the other people telling, I mean,
I feel like there were fewer of us, right? Yeah.
In the beginning, it dwindled down, and he has the other half people telling him that he's the next coming of Christ, and that it's everybody else's fault. And if I was Frank on the court, like holding the ball and having people yell at me, and like when Carmelo, like towards the end of Carmelo's reign in New York, when people were telling him to pass, Carmelo could handle it because he's a star, because he's a man.
I mean, most guys in the NBA can. Let's be real.
Yeah, but an 18-year-old Belgian teen in a different country can't. True fans of the Trade Frank podcast will know that there's been a serious gap in since our last episode. So we stopped doing the pod. We were cooking along really nicely, churning out episodes. And we just got a barrage of the brain dead Knicks fan base.
Let's call it. I mean, we were doxxed. We were blasted. We were called out on our personal social pages. We were afraid.
Replying to, sometimes I would post about comedy shows that I was doing, and they would reply to it and go, "Fuck you, you suck. Why the shit would anybody come to this?" And I'm like, okay, I understand.
You want to trade Frank? How could you be funny in an unrelated subject matter?
Yeah. I understand that I don't like your favorite basketball player, right? Even if it was the Trade LeBron James podcast, right?
Right. We were just trolling, full on lie. Right.
Yeah, and we're just like making up shit just to piss people off.
Right.
It's just a basketball player. It's just a basketball player.
And we're just guys talking to a mic. Like we're not even writers or something. Like we're not
basketball. It's so funny to me. And so anyways, we had a lot of stuff going on at the time, and we, just decided if we wanted to become, because it is,
we have to be martyrs in a sense. I mean, we would have had to really put it on the line, I feel.
Well, it was a decision, because you either like stop and go about your life. And Jared and I are both two people who sometimes get comedy jobs, and we would like to be known as comedy people.
Yes. And when people look us up, we don't want
not as Knicks trolls that not as like provocateurs of
the idea
the sports,
is one could
sports,
the idea was one could have helped with the other, but clearly they were coming into harsh conflict with each other.
Right. Not really. And it seemed fruitless to spend half of our adult lives arguing with brain dead 18-year-olds, or sometimes, in my case, 40-year-old men with children who spend every waking moment of their life insulting strangers who don't like their favorite basketball team. So now, what happens to Frank?
Yeah.
Well, I guess a two-part question.
Yeah.
Where's the next chapter of Frank, and how long will it take the brain dead Knicks fan base to completely forget about him?
Brain dead Knicks fan base to completely forget about him. I think I'll take that second part first. I think they are. It's not even that they're brain dead. It's just that they're such prisoners of the moment. Similar to what I was talking about with Frank, where if he had a 20-point game, my phone would blow up and I would never hear the end of it.
Right.
It's that. So as soon as the next Frankish guy comes along, or as soon as Fournier has a great game, we want to start talking about him, they'll just move on to that instantly.
Right.
I don't even feel that their passion for Frank is real. As we were discussing earlier, it's more just a symbol of something else. So to me, it's as soon as the season starts, really, we'll never hear about Frank again from the fan base, and that's the way it should be.
Yes, I think. And where do you think he'll end up?
Where do I think he'll end up? You know what? Well, first I have to ask myself the question: will he be on an NBA team? That is, I think, a genuine question. I guess if you're really talking like a Pinson role, honestly, like a 0 minutes, I'm just kind of here to be here. I could believe that. And so maybe that is probably my prediction, that he will be on a team and play almost no minutes. And, God, really, I haven't thought about it. I guess the possibilities are endless. I could see maybe a team like Chicago or like a Miami, or a team that's recently kind of made a big splash in free agency and they're retooling their roster and they're trying to, I find that a lot of times teams that are on the verge of being a super team and are really chasing a championship, they kind of front load with these stars, and then they have a lot of room to fill out the rest of the roster.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking Chicago or Miami, or a team that honestly, I think, sadly for us, and I guess good for Frank, is in the hunt. I feel like he's going to end up on a team that's actually has a chance to win a title, but will never play. And then he'll win a ring.
That's actually where I was going to. I thought that he was going to actually end up on Golden State, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I think they'll give him, $1 million for a 1-year deal.
Whatever the minimum.
And he'll ride the bench to a ring. Because I think
people see him as that kind of he's a nice safety net kind of 12th string guy to have, we don't even need him to try to shoot, which we know he can't do. Let's just fucking, I don't know, in a late game weird situation, know that he can cover like a wing player in case somebody gets hurt. It's he's so specialty. He would work out as a guy who doesn't play. That's
right.
Look, if he was on the Knicks as a guy who never played, would have been great. Would have been smooth sailing.
Forget the pod. I mean, I think
playing is where we start to have a problem.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely. I'll put my money on he ends up on a Western Conference title contender.
I like that.
I think that's
everyone always says Popovich. Everyone, I don't know if that's just fun to say.
Well, because that's the same mentality of I'm smarter than you, and
that's right.
And it's well, the thing is, Frank is so good that only a genius mind like Pop would. Of course, a genius mind like Pop would want him around, because Pop knows what we know, which is real basketball, and he just needs to be in that system.
It's all a fantasy that these idiots just have on loop.
I think he'll either end up in a Western Conference team or France. I think he will.
I was about to say, what's the what? Give me a number. What's the percentage that he's not in the country next year?
I think it's 50-50. He's not in the country next year. Which is when we're talking about good players, that doesn't happen with good players. It's
not. Well, of course not.
If Tyrese Halliburton his contract ran out, even Justice Winslow's contract runs out. immediately. The Grizzlies will pick him up. Somebody will immediately pick him up. I haven't heard dick. And trust me, I've been looking, okay? I've been looking for anybody to be sniffing at Frank. I can't find NorthJersey.com articles that are talking about Frank Buzz, okay?
Wow.
Not even like sportsfan.net.
The depths
okay?
of the depths
Nobody's
depths.
writing about it. But I think that this next season, Quentin Grimes will start making threes. And
he's a crapshoot for me. I don't. Who knows?
I think he's going to be up and down. I think Jericho Sims is going to hit some absolutely bonkers alley oops, and I think Deuce is going to show flashes of Marcus Smart because he plays defense and has kind of the same hair. And and people are going to absolutely forget about Frank by December or by the trade deadline. It'll be. I mean, the question is, will anybody in any fan base be talking about Frank? I mean, to me, that's the question. Is his legacy, is it over for him? Yeah. I mean, to me, he, like you said you mentioned the silver medal. There's space, don't feel bad for Frank. Like, there's space for these guys who play on fucking Olympic teams and are in gold medal games where it's like, hey man, you're an amazing professional basketball player compared to, me or you. Right.
You're an amazing basketball player. So you're one of the best players in your home country, and you fight and play for your home country in these tournaments. And great. You don't have to be an impact player in the NBA, and you're not an impact player in the NBA.
Right. And it doesn't matter.
So just live your life playing somewhere else. Do something else.
Right.
It's like he's not. It's not like he has to find a different occupation.
Right.
Just these guys have got to get out of here.
Other than just the ego hit of not having your contract extended, I don't know why he would want to be in New York.
It's
clearly
or the NBA, frankly. He's not gonna play.
Clearly doesn't like it. He's scared to do it. It's confusing to him. Go back to your home country. Go be a hero. Drink wine. Have sex. Have sex.
Jeez, wine.
Go to a party with your silver medal.
Paris. It's Paris, for fuck's sake.
Live in Bordeaux. Carry around your silver.
Say hi to Emily. Whatever they do in Paris.
Yeah. Like, it's a good life. It's a much better life than New York. I mean, this place is fallen apart. We still haven't recovered yet from all the businesses looting and businesses boarding up. We still haven't recovered from that. Get out
to fucking hoop it up every day in Paris. It's like you got a dream life waiting for you.
Don't worry about us. We'll be fine.
Oh, we'll be fine. Be great. Trust me. We'll be better than fine.
While we are rejoicing, while we are, basking, I weep. I also weep at the same time. And I weep because the Frank saga to me is such a bigger story and such a bigger moment in not just sports history, but in human history to me. And I really should, and I know I brought up it a few times, but when I think about Frank, I won't even really think about the player. Give me a moment other than him
to think about.
kind of bumping into LeBron that one time when the game wasn't being played.
Diving on the court once to save some ball. Maybe he hit one big shot. I don't remember.
When I think about Frank, I think about how the internet nowadays
that's his legacy.
Is set up where if enough people it's like
the Trump effect. It's the Trump effect. You're right. You're right.
Witchcraft. Like witchcraft. If you get enough people to say a thing over and over and over and over and over again, it's more important than reality.
Right.
It's more important. And if somebody says something that's real in real life, that person is now a witch and they need to be burned. And it's just so much, and it's so permeated through every aspect of humanity these days.
Right. No more facts anymore. It's just what people believe.
It's just what people believe, and people will go online and they'll find communities of people who
reinforce their
idea, and so therefore you no longer have to look at the world objectively. You can completely live in your own world, and we're constantly in a feedback loop where you go on Twitter and the same fucking losers who tweet about the Knicks will tell you that Frank was done wrong, and you believe it because it's what you consume every day. And so that's why, and so that I think is the legacy of Frank to me. It's that
Yes.
it's that now that facts don't matter, and instead you can live in your own reality where you believe whatever the hell you want to believe.
I mean, it's true. And I don't think that you can honestly look at the numbers, look at the tape, and look at me with a straight face and say that he had any sort of semblance of like an impressive career or was ever that good on the court ever. And it's like, it was just, we were saying it in real time, but now that we're sitting here, I hope we could all be honest with ourselves. And that it's like, he had like a couple good games and he just had no impact. And it's much like the election. It's sad that you could still dispute it, but people do. And but people still, do, and people still support Frank, and
it's flat earthers, it's QAnon, it's Trump, it's.
And if you want to be that, if you want to dedicate your life to this fake cause, go ahead. But it's sad. I agree. It's a sad state of affairs. The idea that there could be this Frank hive, so to speak. It's sad, but you know what? It's over.
How about this? How about will the Summer Knicks win Summer League? That's the first question. And
are we dominating?
I think we are. We just won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And usually now we can get like a solid game out of Quickly and one other person on the Summer League team, which is nice. It'll either be like Obi and Quick or Deuce and Quick or something like that. But so I'll ask, will we win Summer League? And then the second one is, will the Kemba Knicks make it to the second round of the playoffs?
The Kemba Knicks, I like that. Sure, Summer League, yeah, we'll win. As far as the regular season goes and the playoffs, your question is essentially just what will happen. I mean, I think we are and God, I don't want to jinx us, but I really do feel good about this. To me, we're a no doubt 100% playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even envision a doomsday scenario in which we don't make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And so I'll start there. I think we'll probably do no better than a 4 seed. I mean, to me, Milwaukee, obvious NBA champions, they're better than us. Miami's better than us. I would say Chicago is now better than us. And I think, what's the other team? I mean, Atlanta, I would say arguably is better than us.
Yeah.
And Brooklyn,
so obviously
Brooklyn, right. That's
Philly.
Right. Of course. Brooklyn, Philly, I could maybe have an argument with you, but the East to me, honestly, is tougher than it's been in 10 years. And therefore I see us in the 4, 5, 6 range. If I had to pick one, I'd say 5. And then I kind of see us, honestly, unfortunately, even though we are clearly a better team, just because of the level of the competition in the conference, I see us kind of in the same situation where we're like, maybe favored to win our first round matchup, but we don't even stand a chance of advancing past the second round. Then, though, the year after that, we have another draft. We have Worldwide West working his magic. I, again, feel really good about the process. And I feel like we're going to end up better and better for the next 2 to 3 years. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see us being actual contenders. Maybe the year after this coming season, maybe it takes another year, but I think they're 2 to 3 years away from being an actual contender, which is exciting.
Very cool. We will lose Summer League. So anyways, but it's been literally an hour and a half. Wow. And our dreams have been fulfilled finally for the last time. We were right.
We did it.
We absolutely did it. Thank you once again for listening to the Trade Frank podcast. My name has been John Trowbridge.
And I'm Jared Eimicke.
And until next time, Get Frank the fuck out of
Out of New
here.
York.
Bitch.
Fuck you, Frank.
Get out
You're
of
gone.
here.
Oh, it feels so good.